Okay, so apparently, stomping on the American flag become has slithered its way back to the surface. Um, we used to hear about this in the early 1990s. It was back then they said it's my right to burn the flag. So basically the same thing. They're just trying to deface the flag this time around. So I've heard some really compassionate pleas that I absolutely agree with. There was a Marine actually who had a great video which discussed this and so on and so forth. But I just want to point out that people like us will take that video to heart. We'll repost it. We'll keep that communication going within our own group. But the people who are stepping on our flag and the people who endorse that and find that to be appropriate, there's no way to get through to them. At least on the principle level that we're trying to get through to them. They're basically cult members. So I've come up with a solution, and I think what we need to do is just to respond in kind. You know, George Carlin once said, "Leave symbols to the simple people." And actually, the full what he was referenced, the full statement was he talked about how he doesn't get choked up about flags on people's houses, and this is back in the early 2000s, a reference to the post 9/11, etc. So I have to think, and nothing against Carlin, because to some degree I agree with that singular statement he just made, and I think that he is prophetic, and I think he has some progressive leanings, he has some conservative leanings. But putting him aside, I only bring it up because I feel as though that the people, when they hear our rejections, and when they commit, when they choose to stomp on the flag or whatever, that's what goes through their mind, among all the other things that we are obviously well aware of. Basically amounts to their hatred of Western civilization and American culture, etc. Um, but what I think we need to do when we respond in kind is to choose one of their symbols. So we just need to break out those we need to break out those rainbow flags. We need to start stomping on those. And then we need to ask the question, who are the simple people then? Because I believe, and I think everyone here would know if we all do this, we know what their reaction's going to be. It's very predictable. There's only one thing to say back when that 100% certainty of vitriol and venom comes flying right back at us. It's standing on our own 2 feet, looking them straight back in the eye, however we can, whether it's over mediums like this, in editorials, or whatever, even in person. And it's one word: hypocrite. Hypocrite. Now, how to do this? Really simple. This is why the new media is going to be so powerful. This is why I believe that if properly leveraged and utilized by the conservatives, we can really make a difference. We actually have the potential to, it's more than just, we can take back our culture, but that's another video for another time. But you don't need to identify yourself. You can be completely anonymous. Look at my videos. I don't think it's cowardice. I think that we live in an environment that I have to cover up my face. Otherwise, I face punitive actions taken against me just because I have my own opinions, etc. But we could still make a powerful statement exposing the fleshy underbelly of progressivism. As I said in my original video, it's incoherent, it's hypocritical. In this instance, it is obviously incoherent, but it's more so the hypocrisy of the situation. They can desecrate something that we feel is sacred and pull out of thin air and say, geez, why do you even care? It's just a piece of fabric and some colors put together. And you know what? I'm, like I said, 100% certain if you grab the little rainbow flag and stomp on it or whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you want. They're giving you that, they're essentially making that argument for you. After all, it's made of the same material, is it not? It's colors put together, many of them, it's fabric, etc. So just go out there and do it and be anonymous. No one has to know who you are. It's the point that needs to be made. And that's how we fight these people. And that's all that needs to be done. Remember, when they come back at you, it's firm on your own 2 feet, it's right back in their eyes, and it's hypocrite. And we'll win this one.